How do you forgive someone who never said sorry? I was 3 years old when I first watched my father beat my mother. At that age, I didn't understand why they were fighting. All I knew was that when I tried to protect her, he hit me too. People say children forget pain that young, but I didn't. Every scream, every sound, every look in my mother's eyes, they stayed. When I turned 6, my father started disappearing, going out with other women. My mother would climb the mountains to pray for him to change. Sometimes, I followed her. I'd write little letters to God, hide them between the rocks, and beg him to bring my father home. One day, he did. It was the happiest day of my life. My father took me to Mr. Biggs. You know Mr. Biggs now. Played with me for the very first time in his story. Even played with my mom. I thought God had finally answered my prayers. Until the next day, he packed all his things and left. I didn't see him, but my brother did. When he asked where he was going, my dad told him, "Go back to sleep." And that was it. He left. And ever since that day, my mom became a single mom. For a while, she became mentally unstable too. She would take out her frustration on us, her kids. I know you'll say, "Oh, it's normal for a mother to discipline her children." But, Omo, this one wasn't normal beating. Ooh. She would buy koboko and rope, tie us to the dining table, remove our pants, and beat us until it bled. Then, she would put dry paper on the wounds and ask us to kneel until it burned. Even when we moved to Cotonou, I remember how my mom faced mockery for being a single mother, a broke one at that. People laughed at her, and she took out her frustration on us again. One day, she picked up a knife and said she was tired, that she wanted to end there. That day, something awakened in me. I became protective of my mom. I started going close to her, just to ease her pain. Even when she finally got a job and moved to Lagos from Cotonou, she would wake up as early as 6 in the morning, go to work, and come back by 11 p.m., sometimes midnight. If I didn't see my mom, I would get scared, because that image of her abandoning me or harming herself kept coming back. So I would sit on the balcony and wait for her until she returned. If she didn't, I won't sleep. So I did everything I could. We lived with our grandmother. She always showed favoritism to those who were rich, the ones who gave her money, like her daughter in the UK and my cousins. I watched as my cousins mocked my mom because she was a single mother. They said she had failed as a wife and as a mother. Because my aunt, their mother, was paying our school fees. Sometimes, they even sent us messages calling us leeches. That was when we grew older. Anyway, I kept doing everything to make my mom's life easier. I fetched water, cleaned her room, cooked, even though I was a terrible cook. But I spent hours trying. When I started working, I saved money. And with the little my aunt gave me to shop, I would save part of it to pay light bills and support my mom any way I could. That's how it started. I became my mother's emotional and physical backbone. When she cried, I cried, because that image of her in pain or trying to harm herself always came back. I didn't have anyone to turn to, no friends, no family. So I turned to food for comfort. And that's how I became overweight and developed low self-esteem. I didn't even care, because deep inside, I thought I wasn't worthy of love. After all, if my own father who birthed me couldn't love me, then how could someone else? Fast forward. After secondary school, I wanted to study abroad. I finally had the courage to reach out to my father. I asked him, please, to support me with my school fees. He said he can't support someone embarking on a fruitless journey, meaning my dreams were meaningless. He told me not to contact him again, that when I grow up, I'd know where to find him. That was his goodbye. So I turned to others for help, but no help came. Until my mother's friend decided to help, and I finally moved abroad. I stayed with my mother's cousin. I was grateful. She gave me a roof over my head and food to eat. But every day, I was insulted and ridiculed, in front of friends, in front of family members. My self-esteem got worse. I wanted to leave so badly, but I couldn't. Oh, I forgot to mention, my mom also moved abroad. She worked in a restaurant washing dishes before doing healthcare. She stayed with a friend. I couldn't leave my aunt's house because my mom hadn't found her feet yet, so I endured. When she finally did, I told her to save her money, so my brother could also travel for school. Later, I found a job and moved out. But 2 years later, I fell sick, an autoimmune disease. My mom didn't even have money to support me, so I had to work for everything, to pay my bills. And after my brother moved abroad too, he couldn't find his feet, so I supported him until he did. It was so hard because I felt like the parent all along, like I had 2 children, one who needed emotional support and one who needed financial support. Meanwhile, I was the child who needed both. When my dad found out I was abroad, he reached out through his brother. He said we should get to know each other. I told him everything I went through, everything he caused. He laughed. He said my mom told me all this, that she poisoned my mind. He said there's no way a 3-year-old could have seen or known all that. But I did. I saw everything. At that time, I didn't fully understand it. But now I do. I am filled with so much resentment and hate. I put myself last in every decision. And the worst part, each time I talk to my mom, she doesn't even understand me. She feels like if I pray, the hate will disappear. Like magic. I don't hate my mom because she herself is a victim in all this. But I hate my dad. If only he had taken up his responsibility as a man and supported us and took care of his children, even if he didn't want my mom. What about us? I never asked to be born, but now look at me, a parent of 2 people, even without having a child. And I can't move on from the pain, the hate, the food addiction. How can I forgive a man who never gave me closure or even asked for forgiveness? Not that I don't want to, I just don't know how. Please, any advice?